so we're gonna do some just like a simple retouch using the Babylight comb and some Davines lightener. As you can see, Adrienne has a little bit of regrowth. We were doing kind of a chunkier pattern on her, and we're trying to just softly diffuse that small amount of regrowth to remove the line of demarcation. I have a mannequin head here, and we've used 2 different Davines products on it. We've used lightener here. As we know, with mannequin heads, they just don't lift quite amazingly. So we've done lightener here with the Davines View Toner, and then here we've done a high lift. And I think that the high lift in particular is really nice because it's a very shimmery highlight. Like no line of demarcation, it's amazing. I'm gonna go over that product. But for Adrienne, of course, we're gonna be using Century of Progress and Century of Tolerance. So I'm gonna go over here really quick and explain the mixture that we're using and why I'm using them. So we have Century of Progress. This is their, basic like blue lightener. It's wonderful, it lifts, it gets you about 7 to 9 levels of lift. I don't experience any issues with lift on this. It just goes. And then we have Century of Tolerance. And these 2 are intermixable. Century of Tolerance can actually be used on its own. You get about 1 level of lift off this. It's really great for breaking bases and
just a light little zhuzh of color.
Yes. It especially on my blondes, when they get dingy down here, Century of Tolerance is amazing. I'd like to do like a whole thing just about this because
nice.
It's
a great way to use it.
Yep. And so I actually mixed the 2 of these. What I'm doing on scalp lighteners, which I've shown and demonstrated before, these 2 are really great in a 1-to-1 pairing with your lightener. It makes it very fluid. It just doesn't swell. It keeps the scalp very comfortable. That's a big thing of it. Tolerance.
That's
comfort.
why you have a crush on Tolerance?
I do. Yeah. But also when it comes to doing foil applications, it really prevents swellage. And it makes this much creamier. So I think the really cool thing about, Century of Light, is that kind of all of the lighteners are intermixable, and I take advantage of that.
That's so fun.
What's your mix ratio for these today?
I kind of scored it.
I was gonna say,
okay, that's fine.
You went wild with it?
That's fine.
I like my lightener when I'm doing like a tight retouch. I like it to be quite thick and pasty. It holds the foil to the hair. So the vast majority of this formula is going to be Progress and 20 volume. And I think that's more of like a 1-to-1 ratio. And I loosen it up with Tolerance.
Just to your consistency of your liking?
Yep, and it just makes it, if you look over here, you can see that it's just really creamy. And if you don't put that Tolerance in there, it's not as like creamy. I don't know, I use it without Tolerance, but why not?
All right.
It's just a better.
So what are we up to on our beautiful model Adrienne?
Okay, so what we're gonna do is a kind of fan highlight. This is something that I do with kind of the vast majority of partial highlights. It's solid, it covers a lot of ground, it looks really natural, and it does like kind of a nice little money piece without like the money piece look. So I'm gonna start off by, she's got a really good hairline. You can see that we've got a nice diagonal here, but I'm gonna start off right here, right where you see that head change. So I'm gonna part off right at the parietal ridge, and I'm gonna start doing a fan right through here. So.
Do you always use your clip to part?
I do. Do people do it another way? So I'm using the Babylight comb. We're gonna take a small tap of this and we're gonna pull, and you can see how tiny the highlight is.
That's like a
super tiny. And I guess that's what, sorry, I'm gonna use a regular foil for this and not the board. That's why the high lift is actually really cool to use with the Babylight comb, because high lifts, they're great for global application. I think we forget we can lift with those, but for that extra bit of sparkle and shimmer, a high lift is great, and it's all doing everything in one step. So you can see, just pasting that hair on, and nice and secure. Next section. So we're gonna do a pivot. So you can see I started off right here, and I want most of that light to be concentrated up in the corner where her money piece is. I'm gonna pivot off section, and then again, use the Babylight comb. We're gonna go close to the scalp. We're gonna tap it, and we're gonna pull, okay? And there's my Babylight.
And this is why you like your lightener to be on the thicker side.
Yes.
So when you just slam it down
Yeah.
on the foil, it sticks, and you can move pretty quickly once you get into it.
I find that like the lightener doesn't swell as much when you do it thick. I like to use a low volume, like 20 or even lower than that. We're doing a quick application with her, so 20 feels like, you know, it's good. If I was doing a full head, then I would probably start off with 6 or 10 volume. But yes, it's really key. If you don't want slippage in your foils, you really want to use a thick texture because it pastes it to the hair.
For how many sections are you going to take? I mean, these are really small little sections. What's your kind of general rule? Oh, you're just kind of making it up as you go along?
I'm a foiler. Like, I'm very generous with my foils. I tend to just kind of zone out. It's my happy place. And so just to break up this line of demarcation, I am taking like every about inch, maybe a little bit less than that. But it all just depends on the head shape of the client. I just feel like you have to be a little bit more generous if you are trying to break up a line of demarcation. But again, these are tiny foils, so to get that impact, I want to do a little bit more.
So what is your timing allocation generally for something like this?
For a partial, I'm a slow stylist. I do 3 hours. 3 hours start to finish. We do a lot of root techniques where we do a shadow. We do a lot of my clients come in again with, New York is particularly bad when it comes to like the mineral content in the water and the rust. So we do a lot of cleansing again with century of tolerance. So yeah, our services take a long time, but that's why my salon specializes in blonding. I feel like the big problem here in New York City is that everything is like go, 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 and you just don't get the results that you want when you're like speeding along like that. Sure. So yeah, 3 hours. My clients know it's gonna take time.
Sure. Now, where's your salon located?
I'm in the East Village. I found the space last year. And we've been open since October, and it's been crazy. It's been crazy.
A proud Daveness salon?
Yes, we are a proud Daveness salon. It was like an easy choice. What I really love about Daveness is that they don't over proteinize, or they don't put a lot of protein in their shampoos and conditioners. I mean, none. And that's really important for my blondes because a lot of protein will break my blondes. And a lot of clients, new clients that come to us just like OD it. And they're like, why is my hair breaking? Is it because I'm highlighting too much? It's like, your at-home care. And so Daveness, I feel like it's a very concise line. There's not a lot of redundancy, which I really appreciate. Each product has its purpose, and we kind of prescribe to each client.
Most definitely. What's your hero? What is do you have a go-to, one of your favorites?
What's my go-to?
What's your go-to?
Oil is kind of
wanna know.
like
Of course.
the go-to for everybody.
All the lighteners.
Yeah,
Your go-to
it's
is
all-
the
yeah,
lighteners.
Well, my real go-to that we use every day in the salon that I absolutely love is Daveness View. I can't say it enough. The glosses,
Oh, the glosses.
are freaking amazing.
Awesome.
They have an oil base to them, and I feel like they fill in the porosity of the hair really well. So like with other glosses, I find that the highlights take uneven, and you'll get blue spots, or you'll get areas that haven't grabbed correctly. With View, it's just like, it's a godsend. It's the only thing that I use when I have new stylists. I have new stylists that are coming in and they're like, where's the shades of Q? And I'm like, We don't use that in here. And they're like easily converted because it's just an amazing line. I literally cannot say enough about View. You should check it out.
Claps for the View. You used View on your pre-done mannequin, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
we
We did the 973 on my mannequin. It's my most favorite toner from View, right there. So I pre-lifted her, again, with the same mixture of lightener, and then we just toned her. And you can see with the Babylight comb, there's no line of demarcation. It's very, very soft because the foils are just so, the weave is so small. And, you know, anything to make your life easier without going back in and doing like a root tap. You can, it's optional, but.
If you wanted your baby light to be thicker, then do you just dab it again?
Yeah, so when I want it,
matter?
let's see, let's try it. So with here, if I want it to be like a denser baby light, I can go deeper into the hair. So you see how much thicker
Yes.
that
Versus
section
just
is
getting
versus
the-
hairs. You can actually pick up, depending on the pressure, thicker or finer weaves.
Awesome.
It takes a little bit of practice. Everything takes practice.
Of course it does.
I use a lot of different weaver combs. I mean, this is my proprietary one, but I have different ones in the salon. I love tools. I have carpal tunnel, and anything that kind of helps me pick up weaves, especially when I'm doing back-to-back highlights nonstop, really mitigates my carpal tunnel. But with this one, again, I find that that's when the carpal tunnel goes crazy, is when I'm doing back-to-back baby lights. So I was like, God, what can I do to like
Because there's so much
fix it?
dealing with your wrist.
Yes, yeah, you're doing that like constant weave. And you know, I've heard people criticize other people or even myself for using weaver combs, and I just think that it's just
meaning
another,
like you're cheating almost?
Yeah, you're cheating, or it's not personal enough.
You're
And you
right.
can personalize everything, like with
Of
the
course
pattern
you
that you're
can.
using, or
Yep.
you know how firm you're, like how deep you're going into your section. So you know, I think that as stylists, especially if you've been doing it 20 years like I have, anything to save your body, any product to save your body, any tool to save your body, anything that's going to keep you, you know, healthy and working behind the chair the most comfortably, it's a godsend.
Oh, Cammie's bringing it back. She's mentioning she loves the View.
Yes, Cammie.
And Althea also, Liberty, is a fan of Liberty.
Awesome. What do you guys like about it? About Liberty?
And Allison would like to know a little bit more about your comb, and maybe you could go into the design and really how it
does what it
and
does.
how it does what it does, because I'm watching it and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
available on the
Hairbrain's.
Hairbrain website.
It is.
Hairbrain is
Coincidentally.
our only vendor, and you guys are just amazing and have always supported me. And I actually spoke to Marina Lantos like during COVID, and I was like, I got this idea for a comb, and you know, Marina Lantos has Board.
She does.
And so I hit her up and I was like, what do I do? How do I start it? And she's like, you know, just do it. Just like go for it. So I went for it, and then I happened to meet Kelly and Gerard at I went for it, and I spent like forever doing the design down on a napkin. I know that that's so cliche, but I literally, that's all I had. And so we drew it. My boyfriend actually did like a 3D rendering of it, and we sent it off to a factory in China who made it.
Now that's a baby light. I just
Let's see how baby fine.
I just got a good view of that.
Yep.
Super fine.
Super fine. And so they have Babylight combs on the market that pick up weaves. They're much thicker. And you have to kind of do more than one motion with it. And there's, you know, again, all of them they all have their uses. They all have their benefits. But I felt like kind of tapping down and just hooking the hair would be easier. So yeah, we came up with this.
The way that it dismounts off of the comb is very useful for the hairdresser.
Yeah, it's faster. I mean, again, you know, like everything takes, for some people, they find it like a learning curve when doing it, but once you get a hang of it, it's not easy.
Look at Dax.
Oh, here we go.
Look at
Here
Dax.
is the official
This is what it looks
packaging of Blondify the Comb. Please go to hairbrain.com and purchase one of Britt's combs. Just from watching her use it, it's an
You kind of want to use
amazing
it, don't
tool.
you?
I kind of want to use it, and I'm not even a colorist. I'm like, oh, I might even be able to swing a baby light
There
with
you
this
go.
guy.
Well, I
So-
find too for me in the salon when I'm picking up weaves, I'm a heavy-handed weaver because I like to cover a lot of ground. And so it's hard for me to kind of be very delicate because I'm like, "Arr." So the Babylight comb just does it for me. I don't have to think about it. I just go on autopilot. And you can see I've done this whole side really fast. Again, still pivoting. We're going in and maybe come in and take a little close up. Let's do a little slice here. So take our section. You could conversely just take a little slice if you want to. And then I bring the Babylight comb close to the scalp and then I pull. And you can see how fine that is. And that's the point of it. There are weaver combs out there that are gonna take thicker sections, but this is just like sparkling shimmer. And again, when you use this in conjunction with a high lift, like the 1213 in Davines, you get just the most natural, kind of shimmery, seamless highlight. It's magical.
Do you use a lot of high lift?
I've been doing it. I don't because we're all fearful of high lifts.
Meaning it won't lift enough.
Yeah, it's
to
not going to
desired-
lift enough, or we're not going to get what we want. But when you do it with such fine weaves, it does its job. You can really saturate. It's got good incubation, and you get amazing lift with high lifts. I feel like we forget it, and so much of the technique when I'm scrolling through Instagram is bleach, 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 tone, bleach, 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 tone. And color, kind of the art of color and coloring hair and using permanents and using high lifts, it's kind of gone away. And I feel like
like out of sight, out of mind.
out of sight, out of mind, the only time that it ever gets pulled out is when we're doing great coverage.
Ah,
and
that's right.
We need to remember that there's like all these other tools. I come from a time when my mentors were like, if you can do it with color, do it with color.
That's right. It's supposed to just keep the integrity of the hair just a tiny bit better.
It does. And it does. I mean, let's not, you could, damage hair.
You could
with
damage anything, yes.
With just anything. But with the high lifts, you get it all in one step. You get that lift, you get that tone. With the Davines high lifts, you want to do it 1 to 2, and you want to do a full 60 minutes of processing time. So that's where a lot of people go wrong with it too, is they try to like rinse it out super quick. And
You gotta let it do its thing.
Yeah, you gotta let it do its thing. This is my friend Adrian.
Now you're following the same patterns and the same technique on that side.
Yes, on this side. So you can see Adrian has a really strong part here. And so we're gonna get a lot more of our highlighting on this side of her head. And the same thing goes. We're just pivoting off of, the top of our angle. And so that's going to let those highlights converge at that pivot, and you're gonna get, beams of light from that area. And I guess that's where you get really creative when it comes to highlighting and foiling. With balayage, you can really see what you're doing and kind of paint accordingly. With foils, you have to be a little bit more mapped out about it. But if you think of it,
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem.
I have a question. When you're deciding which high lift do you want to use for your lightning, what decides it? Like, how did you go for the 1213 with this mannequin versus another high lift option?
So with this mannequin, her hair is like really warm. And so if I went in with like a 12-1 or, something that's going to ash it out, I think that it wouldn't look really harmonious to the base that she has. So a 12-1-3, the 1-3s in Davines are my another absolute favorite because they're they're cool beiges. And so I'm going to get that control.
Count on them controlling.
Yeah, you're going to get that one that's going to control like the copper tones in the underlying pigment. But that 3 keeps it bright, and I encourage you guys to try 1-3s. I used to be like an Ash Queen, and that was very 2018. Everybody was going cool with everything.
Pandemic, you were changing your ways.
Yes, yeah. I think it's important, like when you're doing hair in the salon, and I do this hair in the salon every day, all day, that you keep yourself interested and that you change things up. And what was in when you're probably at your prime isn't gonna be in. So you gotta change it up.
That's right, I agree.
But you see, I'm like blazing through this.
Yeah, let me just try that one.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can turn her this way.
If it's convenient. Nice, here we go, now we got it.
Now we got it. You can see, I'm taking a little bit of a deeper, stronger weave on her. You know, Adrienne's got really thick hair.
Go, girl. Julie Klein is saying hello and sending lots of love.
Julie, I miss you.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in and blonding with us today at the Davines headquarters with Blonde by Brit.
Hi.
A super New York favorite of ours.
Yes. I'm your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I love that. When we're done with this, she's going to just dip out and be like, bye.
Bye. Gotta get my hair cut.
Yeah. Let's see, I got a little tiny hair there. Okay, so you can see the mixture is really thick. It's going on.
And it's staying in.
It's literally like,
put.
see how creamy and smooth, and how I'm not seeing any hair through that section.
That's a good saturation.
Super, super important for your saturation. I like to go back through my foils and check them. And you know, you can see like, sometimes I'll like drag that lightener through when I'm doing my pull, but I don't have to worry about this. This is gonna chug along and do its job as it's processing. And again, you see that seal? Stuck. That ain't going nowhere.
And you're not worried about product moving because of the tolerance?
The tolerance. Again, I feel like tolerance
So while there's a
prevents
lot of product close to the root, you're not worried about it?
Nope.
Because it's not going to swell.
It doesn't swell because of the tolerance.
Squirted a little
I
tolerance in
squirted
there.
that tolerance in there.
So do you use tolerance for in every bowl?
I think I might. I like it so much because it's like an oil base. And, you know, oil lighteners, that used to be a really common thing back in the day. They've discontinued a lot of them, but Davines kind of bring it back old school. And it's just such a amazing transformer for your lightener. Because lighteners tend to, like, you know, be very powdery. You can see how creamy that goes on. It's just, I honestly, I mix tolerance into things that aren't Davines too.
You go, girl.
I mean, I break the rules.
You know, it's happening out there.
I you know, don't call the hair police, but I break the rules in my salon with tolerance. So again, we're pivoting off. You can see where her hairline is. She's got this little like corner.
A baby widow's peak.
There you go.
A little tiny one.
It's the bane of my existence every time.
Oh no.
Mine too.
So again, I'm just going in. So I find when people ask me when we're using the weaver comb, they kind of simply go in and tap it. You could do that, but the best, most precise way to use it is go in. I'm gonna take the teeth and I'm gonna bring it really close to the root. If you do something out here, you're gonna kind of pick up like a more textural highlight. You can actually almost get more of a diffuse look. It's great for teasing. But if you want that precision sparkle, then get down near the root. I'm gonna raise the hair into it and then I'm gonna pull off. So raising the hair into it's a little bit more controlled than using just the tap.
And it keeps it quite even and a nice
Yeah.
even weave in your foil.
Again, so see, it's a nice even weave. Just pushing that lightener in, getting all the dark hairs.
So let's talk maybe if you'll use it with Adrienne, or will you not tone her, or will you? What are you thinking about?
So with View, so when you do these baby lights, actually toning is pretty optional. Like you can get some really good lift off of it. And again, warmer blondes are really in. View has a gloss, and I honestly, I use that straight up with 10 vol on clients when I feel like my raw lift is really good.
So you're gonna forego
We'll see.
a gloss, but you'll use this other, what is it again? You have that?
The gloss from View.
Yeah, the gloss.
Just the straight up gloss. They give it to you in a nice big bottle,
What-
and
what-
you can
what do
dilute
use it
down
for?
your.
So you dilute it, and it just makes your highlights crispy without adding
Well,
any
it adds
color?
that shine and it adds that moisture. So if you're
Nice.
happy with your raw lift, you can go ahead and just use the gloss straight up. You're not going to get any tone, but you're going to get a lot of shine. And obviously you can
perfect.
go ahead and like dilute your View formulas with that as well.
Oh, nice. That's a great tip.
Yeah. And it's super like oily. So like other glosses,
Which is good when you're
again,
lightening,
are like
'cause
very, yeah. It's like, it just feels, again, the hair just feels like hydrated. It feels good. When I put glosses on clients, I want that feeling. I want that, like, they want that feeling. And I feel like some glosses are, I'm so sorry you just sat up, but I need you to scoot down. Sorry. I don't know where the pump is on this thing. Is there a pump? Are we doing it European style without a pump?
No, the pump is right here. Would you like
shit,
to?
yeah, will you lower it? Thank you,
Of
Dax.
course, my pleasure.
I think that's as low it goes.
That's
okay, well then.
we took it to the floor. Dropped it. We dropped it.
Oh, you make me cheese. Okay. Yeah, she's down to the floor. She's tall.
All right, Adrian, tall with thick hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I using a, oh my God, I'm like really going through my foils.
I love it.
Okay. So what you can do is say if somebody has like see all these little baby hairs, we could just push those out of the way too. It's a nice little blur and you can just kind of protect that hair. Adrian hit me up the other day and she's like, I need more highlights. And I was like, fine. You can be my model.
Just coincidentally.
Exactly. Coincidentally, I need a model. So here
So
she
somebody's
is.
asking where we are. We are in the Daveness
Just
house
swing around here. There's a little view
in
back
Brooklyn,
there.
New York.
Beautiful headquarters.
So we're here with Britt. Please
forgot
follow
my
her.
name.
What now?
I feel like you
No, I was
forgot
getting
my
ready
name
to
for a second
no,
there.
didn't.
I mean,
was getting
who's
ready to say
forgetting
Blonde by
Britt? Who's
I was getting
forgetting
ready to say your
Britt?
Instagram handle first, but then I was like, you
Yeah, I'm
know.
a human.
I mean,
Yes, you're a human and not just an Instagram handle. So, but in all of our, email communication, it's all been, everything is Blonde by Britt. Oh,
Yeah,
Blonde by
yeah,
Britt's
yeah,
coming.
yeah,
So in my mind, that's exactly who you are.
that's Britt. You are your handle?
You are your Instagram
To everyone
handle.
else, I guess, yes.
That's right, but no. But if you're not following Britt, please follow Britt on Instagram. Her work is amazing. It's super inspirational, and we're very happy to have her here in our
thanks,
Brooklyn
Daveness.
studio. If you're ever in Brooklyn and want to visit our space, please feel free to come by and experience the Daveness
Do you
hospitality.
really mean that?
I do.
Yeah.
Can I come over and just
You
like
can
hang
come
out?
and hang
Have you
for sure.
seen the?
You can sit out on the back porch.
Oh, I've seen the
beautiful.
back. We went and looked at the back.
We have a
It
really
is-
beautiful back porch.
When are we gonna have a barbecue over there?
Right.
There's a grill, big long table. All you gotta do is call me. You've got my number. Call
I'm
me
gonna
up.
call you.
We'll open a
I'm
bottle of
expecting
wine.
that southern hospitality.
Hey, it exists.
And
in Brooklyn.
In the Italian way.
And
For
Ayla's
sure.
ears must have been ringing because she just hopped on and said hello. Ayla, we're talking about the awesome HQ and how we're gonna be barbecuing later
That's right.
in the summertime.
Well, later on, we are planning in the grand scheme of things to do a hairbrain Daveness meetup later on
That's
in the year.
right. That's right.
So this is on the, we don't have an official date yet, but this is something that we are trying to do. So we can invite the hairbrain community and the Daveness community to come and see our
And-
lovely Daveness house.
Yes.
A little lower. So I'm gonna show you guys one last time how we use the comb. Does anyone have any questions about how to use the comb? Because I know that there's some maybe a bit of a learning curve with it, but the easiest way is to take a nice little slice of hair. Oh. We're gonna drop the comb in right close to the root, and we're gonna raise the hair up into it, and then we're gonna take it out. That's the most precise way. And I'll actually show you a little trick because she has some depth here I wanna get rid of after. So, applying my lightener.
And just getting back to that gloss again, how long do you leave it on? If you're using it just as a treatment after your
I I like to do like a solid 15 with it for just straight up glossing when I want that extra shine. So I see a little bit of depth back here, and I want to do almost like a Babylight, or I'm sorry, a balayage kind of look. So I did my foil. I'm going to take that comb and I'm going to drop it in again, right underneath the foil. And then what we can do is
It's just a little back to back.
just a little back to back, but instead of going all the way to the root with that, I'm going to do a little angle
Oh, interesting.
here. And so what that does is when these two pieces marry together, I've got a little depth behind this highlight. It's gonna make it pop, but it's also gonna give her like a ribbon effect. And again, that's just because I found a little bit more depth. I mean, you know, clearly Adrienne likes to be blonde, blonde, blonde. So we're gonna give it to her.
And we are celebrating the summer season that's upon us. So I'd like to thank Davines actually for giving us the time and letting our independent education come through. That's always nice.
You guys are cool.
Supporting independent hairdressers.
You're cool.
We try to support our hairdresser community from
I like it.
all around. I mean,
So we'd like to thank you guys for your support and the audience, of course, for tuning in and hanging out with us. Dax, any last words? What's happening with Davines?
Oh wow, what's not happening with Davines?
That's right, I'm excited for the Worldwide Hair Tour.
Yeah, we've got the Worldwide Hair Tour coming up. And anybody from the Davines community that is going, we'll see you in Parma. All of our top artists from around the world will be on stage. We're very happy to finally, after so many years of not coming together as a community, to all come together in Parma, in our home area where our headquarters exist, and just share the Davines love and spirit with everybody from all around the world. So we've got 3,500 people coming.
Oh, how exciting.
The shows are completely sold out. Tours of the village and the factory scheduled. If you're going to be in Italy and in Parma at that time, there are street fairs and art exhibits. I mean, just wonderful exhibitions. Excuse me.
You
Sorry,
guys
it's
tongue
like a
tied.
whole culture, I feel like, with Davines.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
whole
it's
city
like
of Parma
this-
turns into a Davines street fair.
Yeah, it's
How
like, it's
exciting.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
like a whole, every time I hear about Davines, it's like this magical fairy
Ma-
land in
magic-
Italy where you
It
can, eat organic vegetables and like pasta
it's quite
and all
lovely.
of that. So.
Don't forget the bottles. of
Awesome, and Mandy will be there, so there'll be tons of video and stories. So look on, check out Hairbrain in June for that. Otherwise, Britt, what a pleasure! Thank you so much for your time and sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love
you're
you
welcome
guys.
back anytime. I mean,
Really?
oh,
I'm really
come
gonna
on,
help you
don't be
out.
shy.
So,
We're
take
here.
you over here. This is our final look since we aren't going to see Adrienne at least for a while. This side again done with lightener and the Davines View gloss. This side done with the high lift. And if you can get in close, you see how like sparkly it looks as opposed to when we flip her where I didn't do any highlighting. It's like kind of flatter. So I really encourage you guys to try using the high lifts in whatever color line you're using. Davines
Nice.
particularly very nice, but it's magical. It looks great. So,
Awesome. Thanks you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks,
you.
Davines.
Thanks, Hairbrain.
Bye.
Thank you, Brad.